meet the brand new Fujifilm X-E5, paired with its new tiny kit lens, the XF23 F2.8 R WR. Together, a beautifully compact combo that I've been lucky enough to be testing out for the last few weeks on the streets of London. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, I'm Balwinder Bartlett, better known as Mr. Whisper, a street photographer based in London, and today I'll break it all down. From design to image quality, real-world shooting to how the X-E5 actually makes you feel when you're out creating. With so much to get through today, let's get straight into it. Let's start with design. Fun fact. It's the first X-series camera that has a fully machined aluminium top plate, giving it a very premium feel. Just like the medium format GFX100 RF, it also shares the same camera strap as the GFX, which is a lovely touch and something I hope is a consistent upgrade for new Fujifilm releases moving forward. The X-E5 keeps that classic rangefinder style body, making it reminiscent of the X100 but this time you can switch lenses to your heart's content, and it's actually a bit smaller when coupled with the new kit lens. It's lightweight and compact, weighing in around 435 grams body only and 535 grams with the kit lens attached, making it stealthy and comfortable enough to carry around all day without breaking a sweat. It has a small sculpted grip, which again I'd certainly need to add an additional hand grip to in order to feel more secure, as I like to shoot one-handed. And the dials and the interface will be familiar to existing Fujifilm users. Paired with the compact new XF23 that has a 2.8 aperture, it has a high quality finish that's made with an aluminium body with alumite processing. It's weather sealed, making this setup the definition of pocketable performance. Well, more like coat pocketable performance, to be honest. First up, the new dedicated film simulation dial. The dial presents 7 popular sims by default and 3 allocated spots for you to program your own recipes, so you can now switch film looks on the fly even while composing. The fully articulated screen is perfect for solo vloggers, filmmakers, selfies, and those discreet low-angle shots on the street. It has a single SD card slot and uses the NP-W126S battery, which in human talk is the same as the X100 and in my experience lasts almost a full day of shooting. However, I always recommend grabbing a backup battery and a Fujifilm one at that, as I've never had a good experience with third-party batteries. But I'm happy to hear your guys' thoughts and recommendations on that. On the base, you'll also find a dedicated Bluetooth button. Under the hood, Fujifilm has packed a ton into this little body. Starting off with a 40 megapixel X-Strand CMOS 5 sensor and X processor 5. The new autofocus subject detection, something I'm yet to use as I'm more of a face eye detection kind of guy, which I have been using, and I can confidently say it works just as well as my X-T5 and X100 7 stops of IBIS is a game changer. It means shooting at night is a breeze, no tripod, no compromises, and I'm still walking away with decent results. On the video front, it can output 6.2K at 30 frames a second, 422 at 10-bit. I've got to say, it might look like a baby camera, but don't let it fool you. This thing is packing punches way above its weight. So where does the X-E5 sit in the Fujifilm ecosystem? I'd like to say it's kind of like the X100 series minus the fixed lens. Think of it as a modular, everyday street travel lifestyle camera for those who love choice. Ultimately, it gives you the same sensor and image quality as the X100 and X-T5, but in a more compact body, depending on what lens you use with it, of course. However, here's a chart that Fujifilm sent me to help me understand where they see the X-E5 within their ecosystem. My main 2 takeouts were, firstly, I was surprised to see it positioned in front of the X100 most likely because I'm a tad biased towards my beloved 6, But when you factor in the X-E5 and its interchangeable lens situation, it kinda makes sense. Secondly, this began to make me see the X-E5 as a baby X Pro 3 or 4, especially when you consider the X-T50 as a baby X-T5. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you think on this. This is a new section I'm introducing, which pays homage and is inspired by one of my favorite shows growing up, Take Heart with Tony Hart. I am definitely showing my age now. And as the section title suggests, this is where I'll showcase my favorite photos from putting the camera through its paces so you can see how it performs in various scenarios. I'll include the camera settings used because I know some of you love to see those too. Do keep in mind these are all shot in JPEG using the new kit lens and have all been edited using my special sauce. Okay, I'm going to shut up now and let the images do the talking, as it's now time for the gallery. As you might have noticed, the ISO performance, even in low light, was surprisingly clean, and I rarely had to push up to 6400, something I don't normally encourage or do, but as I had the f2.8 lens in low light, it had to be done. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised with the results, meaning the photos would be totally suitable for sharing on socials at the very least. However, if I wasn't testing out the new kit lens, I would definitely have used one of my prime lenses in the low light conditions instead. The 40 megapixel image output is fast becoming a Fujifilm standard, which allows me to crop into my photos without losing any image quality, and especially helpful when shooting with wider focal lengths like the 23mm kit lens. This sensor handles shadow recovery well too, meaning you can shoot with confidence even if you slightly underexpose, which is something I do anyway. This is the part that spec sheets can't explain. Thanks to the compact profile, the X-E5 feels like a camera that invites creativity. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't intimidate your subjects. It's the kind of tool that's fun to use, and most importantly means you'll use it more. For street work, that's everything. You don't want a camera that feels like work. You want one that feels like an extension of your eye. It's the kind of camera you can reach for when heading out for a quick coffee with friends or catching golden hour. After spending a couple of weeks with the Fujifilm X-E5 and the new 23mm kit lens, I can confidently say it's been a pleasure to use. It felt like a nice hybrid of my X100VI and X-T5, especially when it came to autofocus speeds, meaning it was fast enough to keep up with me on the streets, making it a decent proposition for street photographers. And with the added film simulation dial and the useful 180-degree articulated screen, it would be just as suitable for travel and lifestyle photographers alike. It's great to see Fujifilm's new cameras carrying forward the nice touches from one release to the next, i.e. the aluminium top plate, the upgraded braided strap, and although I don't use it much at the moment, the film simulation dial is pretty cool and makes sense based on their respected film stock heritage and this being a strong USP for their cameras. The only downside for me is nothing too major really. Firstly, when pairing any of my primes with the X-E5, it becomes very front heavy and begins to lose its good looking aesthetics. So I'm hoping Fujifilm are listening and working on a range of smaller primes like the 33mm or 56mm being my personal favorites. Secondly, due to the orientation of the SD card compartment, I found it a little bit fiddly to eject my card at times. All in all, the X-E5 gives you the tools and feels of a flagship camera at a price that doesn't break the bank. It's £1,549 for body and kit lens combo, or for body only it's £1,299 and should be available in the UK in early August. If you're still deciding between the X-E5, the X100VI, X-T5 or another camera altogether, let me know in the comments which one it is or which one fits your flow. If you're still here, thank you so much for hanging around, and if you're new to the channel, please support by hitting the like, subscribe or notification bell, which is all I ask in return for making these videos. I'll see you in the next one, if not somewhere on the West End. Mr. Whisper over and out. Peace.